We had done this sentence earlier, these two sentences, 23 and 24, but we'll start again with them. Is solitude greater her human hours with a background of eternal and unique, with a background of eternal and unique, with a background of eternal and unique. Now, he is describing, of course, the destined meeting place, or the place where destiny is going to be shaped and all that. The surroundings, the forest, the mountain, the entire hermitage scene. That is the whole description which is present here. And of course, as we have been saying also, this is a description which is seen from above, from the transcendental world. The whole scene is kind of seen from above. It's solitude greater. It's of that surrounding, of that forest, of that wood. Solitude is greater her human hour. Now, this is psychologically very important. Solitude greatens human hours. We do not normally realize that our capacity as human beings really increase the more and more we get into that kind of a solitude, into inward drawn quietness, into something which is shut off from everything else. All kinds of noises of this world are away from us. Then your human capacities, human potentials, human possibilities really open out in a very great way. So actually, psychologically speaking, solitude opening human hours is a great truth which you don't realize in our life, and we never give room for solitude when we are busy with all our thousand things of the daily work. You see, with a background and what kind of greatness it brings, what kind of greatness that solitude brings to human hours. It brings the background to the eternal and unique. You see, you are suddenly in that solitude, in that quietness, in the shanti, peace, whatever you want to call it, you are really closer to the eternal and the unique, you see. So actually the key for successful life is in this particular sentence itself. Solitude greatening human hours, and that greatness is nothing but the greatness of coming closer to the eternal and unique, you see. That is solitude we have got, you see. We hardly bother about that solitude, you see. We don't keep an hour for that kind of a thing at all, you see, in our life. We are too busy, we're too quarrelsome, too argumentative with all the thousand things of life, you see. And then a force of spare, direct necessity. Direct necessity. Yes, there is something which has to happen now, here, at this moment. And it is that force of spare, direct necessity, reduced the heavy framework of man's days. So that is what the solitude is going to do. Man's framework is reduced, and a force of spare, direct necessity, reduce the heavy framework of man's day, and his overburning mass of outward need, his overburning mass of outward need, his man's outward needs, all those things have become quiet in that solitude, you see. To a first thin strip of simple animal want, what does he want? Very few small things in life actually. We don't really need too many things, you see. To a first thin strip of simple animal warmth, and a mighty wideness to the primitive earth, and a brooding multitude of patient trees, and a musing sapphire nature of the sky, and a solemn way to the slowly passing month, had left in her deep room for thought and God. So all that thing what has done, it made a room in her for thought and God. She can really think quietly. She can really think truly also in that quietness and of God. See, that is the greatness of the solitude. You see, he is illustrating what that eternal and unique is. that eternal and unique is thought and God have become there in the solitude of mind and their surrounding you see. Now this sentence is a very beautiful sentence and already you see the kind of poetry which is there. You are in a different world altogether. A foe, a spare, direct necessity, reduced heavy framework of man's day. The moment you start reading that, all the burden of humanity is gone. See, you don't feel the weight of humanity at all, of mortality, of conflicts and all that kind of thing. Reduced heavy framework of man today and is overburning mass of outward need. We have first thin strip of simple animal. We want really very small little bit of it only, not too many things like that, you see. One and a mighty wideness of the primitive and a brooding multitude of patient tree, the brooding multitude of patient tree. What poetry you see, and the musing sapphire azure of the sky, and the solemn way to the slowly passing one had left in her deep room for thought and God. So that solitude has already brought to her thought and God of mind, you see. Now, poetically, as I said, this is not only different poetry or to the earlier passages you see, and the moment you start reading this sentence and onward, you are in a different world of poetry. The sheer overhead poetry in its purity, in its perfection, is what is emerging in this entire description you see. And you see, the rhythm, the language, there are how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 9 sentences, 9 lines here. 9 lines in the sentence, you see. And in a word, there are 45 feet. Each line carries 5 feet. So there are 45 feet in all the sea. Now the beauty of this sentence is that of these 45 feet is that I have made a little count of this thing. We have here 23 amps, 23 amps, 11 anapists, 3 spondees, 7 pyrrhics, and 1 trachea. the trachea, you see, I will tell you what that means here. A foe's spare, direct necessity, a foe's spare, a foe's I am, of spare I am, direct, it is long short is a trachea, long short long is a name, long short is a trachea, the necessity, pyrrhic, reduce the heavy framework of man today, it is a spondee, you see. 23 amps, 7 pyrrhics, 3 spondees. Like man's days, long, you see, man's days, 1 trachea. So the metrical beauty is in this, essentially it means that, as I said, 23 amps and 11 anapasts. Anapasts means short, long. Aya means short, long. So in other words, it is basically from short to long. The predominance of the feet is from short to long. I am plus anapest, 23 plus 11, 34 out of 45. You see, it's a very large numbers of short to long completely. In other words, it's moving forward, moving onward like that. Tuck, like that goes on like that, you see, in that manner, you see. A foe's spare direct necessity, reduce the heavy framework of man today, and his overburdening, you see, overburdening, that is 1 foot, that is an apex, overburdening mass, that is why this is another anapaest of outward needs. We first again an anapaest, and a mighty again an am, and brooding another anapaest, and the musing another anapaest, and the solemn another anapaest. I mean, all the successive lines, they are starting with anapaest, am, am. See, that gives a kind of a vibrancy, urgency, speed also, the whole movement is here. A kind of a rush there in that quietness. A force of spare direct necessity, reduced heavy framework of man's day, and burdening mass of outward name, to first thin strip of simple animal world, and a mighty wideness the primitive and the brooding multitude of patient dream, and the musing sapphire leisure of the sky, and the solemn weight of the slowly passing sun had left in her deep room. Deep room is responding again, long, you see, for thought and God. So that is the beauty of this poetic construction of this line. You see, very powerful, very beautiful. You see. I am simply enamored by this sentence, you see. Well, you'll have to excuse me if I am kind of ecstatic about it. But see the way in which you feel the movement that you are kind of taken along with you see, the whole thing, you see. And the solemn weight is slowly passing, and the solemn weight, the beauty of the poetry is such that you don't feel the weight at all. Savitri, weight is her future, her destiny, her fate. This man is going to die tomorrow. That is the solemn weight she is carrying, but the poetry kind of lightens it. You see, it makes it easy to bear. You see, and the solemn weight is slowly passing. There was a drama's radiant prologue. So that is the nature scene which is described here. And it is here that the drama is going to be enacted. Now, there was a drama radiant, of course. It is going to be the death, but it is going to be a radiant death, a transformative death, a death which will bring out a totally new change, radiant. But then, what is this one? It is a prologue. Actually, the action is going to take place here. There is no question of prologue. The action is going to take place here, you see, completely, you see. This is a place where things are going to happen tomorrow. But the word prologue, lived, already indicates that this is a prologue written elsewhere. It is already written up there, that thing. And that is going to be enacted here in this holy place, in this sanctified place, in this beautiful place, in this tranquil place, you see, in this destined place, you see. There was a drama's radiant prologue lived, a spot for the eternal straight on earth. So that is the beauty of this. See, it must be a really very holy place where the eternal is going to walk, you see. A spot for the eternal straight on earth, set in the cloistral yearning, the world, cloistral yearning all surrounded. Hermitages are there, quiet is there, peace is there, shanti is there, tranquility is there, set in the cloistral yearning, the world, and watched by the aspiration of the peaks. The peaks are watching the whole scene and guarding it, and they are also aspiring for what? They are aspiring for the eternal state on earth. They are aspiring for the eternal state on earth, you see. And what by the aspiration appeared to an aureate opening in time. There is a golden slit which is cut into time, and it is through that slit you are seeing the whole thing. That prologue you are seeing that thing. Golden, because this is a radiant prologue which is being lived elsewhere, which is being lived. Therefore, you are seeing it now, that there appeared to an aureate opening in time, where stillness, listening to the unspoken word, stillness, listening, felt the unspoken word. The word has not been spoken, but the stillness is yet able to hear that thing already. Stillness is that the word has not been spoken, but it is able to hear. The quiet is such that you anticipate what is going to be spoken. You feel what is going to be told to you in this quiet. You see, you develop a perception that yes, this is what is going to happen. That is the unspoken word which you already get in that thing. You kind of get an intuition, the whole thing, you see. Appears and over it opening in time, where stillness listening, filled and spoken word, and the hours forgot to pass towards grief and change. Grief and change because there could be the death of a lover, but the hours have forgotten to pass that. It is going to be a radiant prologue. So there is a question of grief and change at all.